Neighborhoods like Frankfurt are pivotal to Philadelphia being a great city. And because they have people that have this incredible history, because of its diversity, because of its unique point in the city. You know, you can be on 95 or the boulevard in 5 minutes, so you can get anywhere in the city. I think it's a strategic neighborhood, one where we've managed to keep some manufacturing. We've lost some. But that's part of what we're trying to get to. We're trying to get some of that creative economy and manufacturers back to look, because of our strategic location and people being able to get deliveries in and out. We want people to look at Frankfurt as a community where potentially people can work, live, and play. We had allocated some streetscape money to the Frankfurt community, and folks were undecided about how do you utilize that money to begin kind of this revitalization of Frankfurt. I know very well the great work that Mural Arts does, and felt it was an opportunity to try to link the sentiments, the frustrations and the sentiments of the people of Frankfurt, and I thought the Mural Arts process would be beneficial in helping us make the corridor serve as a bridge as opposed to a dividing line between kind of East Frankfurt and West Frankfurt. So for me, it was an opportunity to say, let's make this small investment, use the process as an opportunity for a dialogue and for people to share Frankfurt's history, but more importantly, try to get folks to have a common theme about the future of Frankfurt. I wanted to be a reflection of the neighborhood, but I also wanted to be an opportunity for the mural to be a canvas about its future. I'm really interested in getting folks to come together around a visioning process of the future of Frankfurt, because it's going to be very different. Demographically, it's changed. Income levels, it's changed, and it's kind of in transition and in flux. And so I'm hoping that the murals will serve as a canvas of how people view themselves and their potential. I want people to go by on the L, and if they are captivated by the murals and how we're trying to connect the murals to what's going on beneath the L, that they will get off the train and come down and visit Frankfurt. I want you to be able to come and look at the murals and say, wow, I didn't know that was in Frankfurt. I want people to come and see a mural and say, wow, there's diversity in Frankfurt. I want folks to look at the mural and say, wow, people in Frankfurt care. Part of our long-term goal and kind of my 10-year vision is I represent kind of 10 stops on the L. So we've been talking about what are the incentives that we give the businesses to open up their second floors. And that requires some investment on their part. One, it requires a separate entrance. Two, it requires them renovating the front. In the 46-4700 block project, they can renovate the top. Usually the money we give is just for the first floor. So this project includes the second floor, because we're hoping that at minimum they'll put windows up there so that it looks open. But the goal is to figure out how we get them to renovate those 4 apartments. And then what are the incentives that we give so that they can keep them available for low-income folks? What's the formula? What incentives can we build in so that businesses look at their second floor as rentals, long-term rentals, because that's where you want density. People who live along the L won't necessarily need cars because they can just hop on the train. So we're trying to figure out what's the formula, and we've been talking to businesses and asking them, what would it take? And then the longer term question is, once we get them to fix it, how do we maintain them affordable? And what kind of subsidy would we give on certain corridors for folks if they did that? For me, my goal would be that in 10 years, you can get on the L from downtown, and when you go through these neighborhoods, there's going to be people, there are going to be windows, we're going to take all those boards out. So that's the goal. And then create that good traffic, because I think part of it is there's an assumption that people don't want to live along the L, but people who are from New York love it. I mean, they're, you know, it's nothing different. So so we got to create those incentives. We are actively trying to get the resources so that we can have foot patrols back in the neighborhoods. This year, we're going to graduate 100 or so police cadets, and they're going to be doing foot patrols in neighborhoods and corridors like Frankfurt. I agree with folks. The presence becomes very important on the corridor. So, you know, a lot of focus has been put on cleanliness, on public safety. But also, we now have to draw a mix of businesses. There's been a concern when you lose anchors like American Pants Company, what can we draw into? But you know, you have some good staples here. You know, you have the uniform store, you know, Gill's Upholstery. There's some staple stuff, and then there's different types of businesses coming in. So it's trying to draw that mix so that you can have the coffee shop, the restaurant, the other things on the corridor. And I think part of keeping it clean and making it look safe is, you know, how it feels, and that's kind of the direction that we want to move into. We had this design collaborative design some awnings and some of the signage that's affordable. And part of what we hope when we renovate those is that people will redo them. And part of that includes adding additional lighting to that. So the project involves us giving grants and matching the money that the businesses are going to put in their facade improvement, so we can get all of those things. So it's nicer signage, more lighting, and showing them that if they invest in their businesses, we're going to invest in them. So let's talk a little bit about the lack of healthy foods and a supermarket in Frankfurt. It's been a common theme. We have worked really hard with the major supermarkets to try to get someone interested in Frankfurt and looking at the density and population, and have been unsuccessful in drawing a major supermarket. But last year, for the first time, we had a farmer's market on the avenue. We have a couple of churches who've expanded their food cupboards, so we're working with Full Abundance to kind of expand some of that. And we're definitely working with the schools on healthier initiatives, Frankfurt Friends and other schools around that. It is one of the challenges, and that's why bringing people back to Frankfurt and creating that kind of density is going to be key to drawing a supermarket to Frankfurt Avenue. When you think about families, you think about what's available. So you have, the Stern Elementary School here. You have Frankfurt Friends private school, and one of the things that I talked about was a charter school, and that was one of the projects that we worked on in the last couple of years, where we opened up Sankofa School. So those are potentials to, again, rebuilding the neighborhood and bringing young families back. Having that educational mix of young people is a driving factor, because when you ask people, Philadelphia, why Philadelphia, schools always become the issue. That's such an important part of building a neighborhood. Then we've spent a lot of time renovating the recreational facilities here. So Gambrel is beautiful. We put a spray park in there. When we opened it up, the kids were like, wow, you gave us Dorney Park. And we fixed Walmart Park. We're doing the square. Again, schools, the commercial corridor, rec and open space. I think that's what helps us build the neighborhood. I'm hopeful that through the painting process, through the opening of the mural, of the actual murals, to the unveiling, to the projects that we are doing on the corridor, will motivate folks to believe that one, that we can really change Frankfurt in a positive way, but in a different way. And I think that's been the struggle, is when I talk to folks, it's like they want the Frankfurt of yesterday. And it's like, can we just envision a new Frankfurt? So that's what I want to get to, the new Frankfurt. Frankfurt is full of potential. Frankfurt tiene potencial.